What if everything that you did had profound value? What if all of those crazy jobs that you ever had actually mattered? On today's Quest for Clarity, we're going to talk about hindsight. Yes, hindsight, that thing that we all have in our lives. We look back and think, oh, if only. But you know what's interesting? The first two questions that I asked you, what if everything that we did had value? What if all those crazy jobs that you had done mattered? Well, the short answer really is, well, they do. Well, it does. But I want to expand on that a little bit because it's fall and lots of kids are going back to school. And one of the things that I'm hearing a lot lately from clients and from clients' parents is a lot of stress, really. A lot of stress about kids who are going back to school or who are just starting school, going to university, who feel like, oh my gosh, I have to make this one decision. I'm going to spend all of this money at school. I'm going to focus on this thing for the next 4 years, and it had better be the thing that I love and want to do for the rest of my entire life. Whoa, that's a lot of pressure, isn't it? So I'd ask you, if you went to university and if you went, or some kind of post-secondary education, some kind of training that you did for a job, and if you were past that time in your life, whether you're a parent or not, I'd ask you to look back at that time and really and honestly reflect and evaluate and say to yourself, did I follow through on that decision that I made when I was 19 or 20 or 18 maybe even, or 19 or 20? And is that exactly what I'm doing now? And I would think that for many of you, the answer is no. It might be some version of that. Say you decided to be family law and you ended up in criminal law or in civil law. Sure, it could be an iteration of that or a version of that education. But for many of us, what we started out in and what we thought we were going to do and what we actually ended up doing were completely different. Or we started out and we got to that thing, that career, that path, that job that we thought, yes, this is where I want to go. We got there and realized, oops, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be either, is it? And we changed. So the reason that we're talking about this is because I really want people to understand, especially young people and especially parents of young people, that there is no one right decision. There is no only decision. I will make this decision and then the rest of my life will unfold beautifully. My career path will open up in front of me. The trees will part and the sun will shine and I will never have to make another decision about a job again in my life. Yeah, not so much. Not so much. It's not going to happen. So I looked at my own life and I thought, is this really true, Jen? Is this really, in fact, what goes on? Because I spent and have spent, as maybe many of you have, a lot of time in my life doing jobs that I didn't really want to do. And I told myself, or maybe I should say, jobs that I thought I wanted, but then they didn't kind of play out the way that I wanted them to. So I realized, looking back, that I spent a lot of time being frustrated. That feeling of, well, when is my life going to start? When is my career going to unfold? When is my success trajectory going to take off, right? And I spent a lot of time like that, and I think, oh, well, kind of wasted a lot of time doing that, didn't I? And maybe you have as well. But what I see now, and what I really hope that younger people, well, I don't care if you're young or not, people who are feeling a bit frustrated in their jobs or frustrated with their career path or frustrated with the decisions that they have to make or feeling the pressure of making some big one-time decision, what I want you to recognize, and sorry, you might have to just take my word for it, is that everything that you do along the path, all of the small jobs, the menial jobs, the maybe somewhat interesting or not so much interesting jobs that you do along the path, are getting you to where you need to go, to where you need to be, to who you need to become. And I get it. Sometimes it's really hard to see that. And I remember, for example, a million years ago, I was traveling after sort of in the midst of university, and because for that same reason of what do I want to do? I don't know. Okay, well, I'll travel. And that's kind of what happened. And so I remember working along the way, and I was working at the time in a car parts factory. Oh yes, I was. And I admire, so a couple things happened. I realized that I was not cut out for that kind of work. It was very repetitive. It was very cold because we were in a factory. I know that sounds silly, but it was very interesting for the first not very long. Once I learned how to do everything, I felt like that was kind of it for me. And so I recognized a couple of things that I needed to be able to expand my horizons. So perhaps I should get an education. And I also had new respect for the people who do that kind of work and recognized that I was not that person and I was not right for that kind of work. So two things kind of happened there, which is great. So the idea is that sometimes we have to try something before we recognize we don't like it so we can make a different decision. So it's okay if you step in one direction and say, whoops, wrong direction, I'm going to go somewhere else. So that's the first thing that happens. And the second thing happens, and again in my own past, looking back and thinking, well, I had this mentality of, I will do this for a time. It seems interesting. It seems like it's something that I might be good at. So I'll do this for a time until what I really want to do comes along, or until I can make happen what I really want to do. Kind of flawed logic, isn't it? Yeah, it didn't really make sense. So I'm going to do this until I can do what I really want to do. Why not go off and do what you really want? Well, sometimes we don't know what that is. But as I look back, and I remember, I can feel that frustration of, oh, why isn't this happening for me? Oh, why isn't this morphing into what I want it to morph into? Oh, why aren't I doing what I think that I could be doing? Well, I look back now and I realize that I was building muscle. Yeah, I like that analogy. I was in all of these different kinds of jobs that I was doing, whether it was teaching, teaching yoga, got your yoga certified, yoga, don't worry, I'll get it, yoga certification, and teaching yoga, different personalities, different bodies, different needs, different feeling, different flow, from that to doing something like copywriting, honing those skills, to doing something, I believe it or not, I started a cookie business for a while. I was baking cookies. I don't really know where that came from, but at the time it seemed like a really great idea and it seemed like what I really wanted to do. And so I've kind of been a serial entrepreneur. But what I realize now, looking back, is I was kind of feeling like I was doing this kind of pushing against myself and trying to get ahead, is I see now that I was building muscles. I was learning. I was stretching myself so that now as a coach, as a speaking coach, and as a clarity coach, and as someone who can help people open the space in their brain to get where they want to go, I realize that I use tools, skills, strategies from all of those things, all of them. So all of the experiences in my life, all of the jobs, all of the good ones, the bad ones, the short ones, the long ones, the bright spots and the dark ones, they all come together. And I realize that I use all of that now. Yes, it's a product of age. Yes, it's a product of experience. Yes, it's a product of hindsight. I get that. I hear you. I hear you saying all those things. But it's really important that as you are moving through things, that experiences and career possibilities and job ideas, and maybe the frustration of not having the job that you want, or not getting that interview that you thought you deserved, or not getting hired after you did a great interview, or not getting into the program at school that you want to get into, it's really important that you recognize that all of those things are building muscle. And that if you are open, and if you are maybe immersed or at least involved in what you are doing at the time, I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, you will walk away with something that will benefit you and the people you work with in the future. And all of that means that everything that you do has a benefit. There is nothing that you're doing, whether you're working as a receptionist at a medical office, whether you're a hairstylist, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're working in a car parts factory, whether you're doing a part-time job at a fast food restaurant, or whether you're working as a golf pro. I mean, I could go on forever, really. And if it's not what you want to do, or it's not maybe as big as you think you want it to be, or as grand, or as far-reaching, you're building a muscle. You're building something that you will use, and that will benefit you and the people you work with as you move along your career path. So don't stress. There is no one big decision. It's like an unfolding. It's like an evolution. There is no one career. There is no one decision. I don't know how to say that any more definitively for you. I just want you to relax and to say, okay, what am I learning in this job at this time, even if I don't really like it? What is the only one, that's all you have to find. Find one positive thing that you are doing in your day-to-day job, or you are learning in your day-to-day job, or you are exercising in your job. One thing that you can see is positive. And it might be something really simple. I'm learning how to write better emails. I'm learning how to conduct myself in a meeting. I am learning how to facilitate more interesting workshops. I am learning how to communicate and resolve conflict better. I am learning how to manage my time. All of those things will help you as you evolve and as your career path unfolds before you. Remember, the trees don't part and the sun doesn't shine over one career, generally. Lucky you if that does happen, but for most of us it doesn't. And it's an evolution. And I will say again, as I look back at my own life, that it's extraordinary. Some of the things that I thought, oh, why am I doing this? I use it now. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. So please, just chill. And your challenge, your activity, your exercise for the next time before you and I meet again is to find that one thing. If you don't love where you're at, if you don't love the job you're in, find one thing that you can focus on as a positive. And maybe, just maybe, that positive thing that you focus on will expand. And it may just turn into an opportunity, or a decision, or a choice. Try it. I guarantee you it will work. My name is Jan Bailey, and this has been your quest for clarity, because some days it does feel like a quest. It feels like a journey that keeps going. And have faith. Have faith. Every day it unfolds and shifts every day. If you would like to know a little bit more about me and the work that I do, please check out theclaritycoach.ca. If you've enjoyed our time, because I love to have the opportunity to chat, to hang out, to present ideas to you, maybe in a different way, say them to you in a different way that speaks to you. Well, if you've enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. Please rate it, and I absolutely hope that you will subscribe, because I would like to see you again the next time we do this. Because clarity is a process. It is a practice. Yes, a practice. So be mindful, be open, and be you on your quest for clarity.